Hi everyone, my name's Jenny B and I'm from Jenny B Studios. I am filming this on my old iPhone and I'm trying to hold it while I'm painting, so please forgive me. I ask for your patience. I am learning and I am trying to improve. So here I'm using pastel mat and I'm using those pan pastels. So if you don't know what a pan pastel is, they're a soft pastel colour compressed into small little pans. And the wonderful thing about that is that you can buy some really great little sponges and what they call soft tools to apply it. I've quickly laid in the background. There's not a lot of background to lay in, which I've done in the pan pastels, and then I'm working through to the foreground. The reason being is because it was just easier to do it that way. So every painting, there's a slight difference in the approach. So here I'm laying in the in-between colour, or the common colour, for Tilly's blanket, which ultimately at the end of the day will be a lavender colour. And I have done another video which concentrates just on this portion of the video, where I go into depth about the reason why and how I do all of this. So I really hope you would like to watch that as well. You can see how quick and easy it is to get a really nice even coverage using the pan pastel. Now, I'm not sponsored by Pan Pastel. They are a new product and this was one of the first times that I've ever used it, but it was so much fun. Now, what I've done here is something a little bit different. I'm actually showing you where I've been to where we can go. And I just think it would make it a little bit easier for you if you're learning to use soft pastels for the first time. So you can see here, I'm actually, even though Tilly is predominantly a white dog, which has some caramelly highlights in her fur, I've laid the foundation in, so you can see that I've got the drawing in, which I did as a transfer because I'm working on pastel mat and it's really hard to do corrective drawing beforehand. And then I lay in my foundation colours. So you can see here up close where even as the flow of the fur turns away from the light, it's not going to be as bright and light. And most of the fur that's laid in now, there's a lot of colour going in. Now some of that colour will be used with the pastel sticks that you can see there, or pastel pencils I should say. And I'm just going through and popping in her eye now. Things like the whitest whites are always, or the lightest, brightest highlights are always left to the last when I paint. So I sort of do that dark to mid-tone palette of colours before I move into the highlights. Even though I have done most of the left-hand side of Tilly's face, you will see throughout this demonstration that I will go back and keep working at it. And that's in order to unify and balance out the painting. So again, just popping in some of that base colour there. Now it's a little bit more richer in its hue or its value, or chroma, whichever you want, whichever terminology you want to use, than what will eventually be the final coating. So you really need to pick out that undercolour before the fur. So I guess you want to know a little bit about myself as you watch this demo. So yes, I'm Jenny B from jennybstudios.com. I've recently returned to painting after a 10-year separation from painting. Originally I was trained in oil painting and I worked predominantly in oil painting for 18 years. But due to health reasons, I couldn't work in oils anymore, and I was absolutely devastated. Anyway, one day I got a call from my mum-in-law, and she asked me to do a painting for her, and yeah, so I've never looked back since. Absolutely love it. And pastels is a wonderful product. So I paint in both pastels and acrylic. I do tend to do my pet portraits in pastel, and the main reason for that is I like the softness and the detail that you can get with pastel. As I lay in this more lavender colour that I mentioned earlier in the foreground, you'll notice that I actually pop some of that colour straight into the muzzle of Tilly. And the reason being is that because her hair is quite light, in certain areas, as the light flows, it will actually reflect those colours back into her fur. So, while I've got that colour out now, it's a great time to add it in. Tilly took over 4 days to produce. For her owner, Michelle, who is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful person. And I still keep in contact with her today. Moving back down to the foreground. Now, when I softened those lower layers, I could have actually left the cloth like that and it still would have looked great. But I don't want the cloth to be the centre of the portrait. So I'm going to go back through, soften everything down. I'll darken certain sections before I start putting in the polka dots. The wonderful thing about pastel is you can correct it. Even on pastel matte, you can still come back and correct it. So pastel matte is one of my preferred papers. It is in Australia. It is one of the most expensive papers in the pastel range that you can purchase. But all my client work is done on pastel matte, and I love the way that I can get detail from it. When I'm laying in polka dots, they're not all the same colour, and you can see me correcting over there on the right, and I'm also going to follow the direction of the cloth, and that's really important. I do exactly the same thing with the hair on the face. As you can see me working here, I still follow, even for those highlights, I follow the line of the fur. In some of my other videos that are coming up, you'll actually see me on different animals. I have a tendency to stroke with my pastel sticks. So there you go, there's Tilly all packed up, ready to go home for many years to go. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and to like me. Put a comment below, please make it positive. I'm all about positivity. And yeah, look, I really hope that we catch up again soon and that you enjoy watching this video, and who knows, catch me on Instagram, catch me on Facebook. That's www.jennybstudios.com. And I'm Jenny B, and catch you later. Bye.